afternoon, Miami. Welcome to another episode of Fast Break. Not at your usual time and your usual day, but we make do since I have a lot of tour news. Our owner kind of kicked us to the curb yesterday, so I'm just kidding. We couldn't make it yesterday, so he was able to accommodate us for today. And like always, my sidekick, partner in crime, Clutch. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? What's up, man? Pretty good. Enjoying the holidays so far.
Yes, man. Do you got family over? It's just you guys?
Yeah, I got a couple family over. New Year's is gonna be pretty down low though, so it's all good.
It's all good. It's funny. One thing now with the topic of family, when it's New Year's or like Christmas and all that, the epitome of your family coming over is kind of like that first day. Everybody's like really excited, and oh my god, everybody haven't seen you. At what point do you start getting tired of your family being over, or does your family start getting tired of you?
I think we all just get tired of each other by we enjoy the 24th and the 25th,
Yeah.
and then by the time the 26th rolls around, like we're ready to move on with our lives and never see each other for a whole year.
When you get the first day, you're just there looking at me like, so when this is gonna go back to normal? Can I have my living room back, please?
I'm like, yeah. Christmas is kind of over. You guys can, go home.
I think it's funny. That's always something that we always go through. And actually now, I know last show, I said, oh, it was the last show. See you next year. Obviously, I know I forgot that we had another week left of the year. Christmas games were packed. We had some Dolphins games. With some ups and downs, some good performances. I'm not gonna lie, but you do miss it. Kind of reminisce the Christmas seasons when Durant was in the Warriors, when LeBron was in the Heat, when Kobe, obviously, rest in peace, alive, with the Lakers. So it kind of makes you reminisce a little bit during this holiday season. And I think I'm going to segue. I'm going to use that as a perfect segue. I think LeBron James might be reminiscing what he could have had, what he should have had. I'm not saying that. Oh, first, I'll get your opinion. Based on the quotes that you've seen, before I say anything, how do you feel? Who was LeBron James directing that to? And was it a coincidence? Because there's very few coincidences in LeBron's world. What do you think, Clutch?
He used a lot of keywords, which were interesting. He used DNA, which is a very Pat Riley thing to do.
Yes.
Winning, obviously, championships, stuff that he got. Miami's still the only team he's won multiple championships with. Because he's got one with the Cavs, one with the Lakers, and two with the Heat. So, I think every time he kind of gets to play against and have a chess match against Spo, I think he kind of thinks, what if? And because I honestly think he'd have more than 4 by now.
Absolutely.
That's just my point of view, and I think that he would have him back too if everything was in the perfect world.
Yeah, and for example, I'm just gonna throw this out there to remove any plausible. It's not plausible this year at all. Once he signs that extension, he can't be traded until the offseason. So people need to forget about this year. What struck me when he says those comments and you use the key words is the fact that it was after playing Miami. The moment in the press conference in Miami. There's always obviously a familiar feel when he comes here, because once you've played there, once you have friends in the organization, even if it's a time, just the city itself, a lot of players that have played here, the majority of the NBA, I would say a big percentage of the NBA either have off-season homes here or obviously some of them live here once they retire. So Miami is a melting pot city, and it's a very attractive city for players, kind of like Los Angeles. New York, obviously, if you're into your media, more business. For example, look at Bobby. What's up, Bobby? LeBron Heat reunion next season. That's what we're gonna discuss. That might be a possibility if the price is right. And you kind of see where he's going because first topic people are gonna throw out there. The first thing I think about, I still question why LeBron signed the extension with the Lakers. I don't find a point to it. It's not about financial security. The only upside I would see of LeBron signing that deal was giving security to the franchise to use that as leverage to acquire other players. Like knowing that you have LeBron tied there for 3 years, it does make it an attractive destination. You have Anthony Davis, but once again, the blueprint that was given here in Miami, and we were going to get younger the year he was leaving. The blueprint has always been surround LeBron with shooters. And that's the winning formula. Playmakers, athletic people, athletic wings. For some reason, once again, the Lakers are in a situation that, bearing injuries, obviously, Anthony Davis, quote unquote, injury prone. LeBron James is carrying a load at 38 that, if that's what gets you thinking, I guess, as a basketball player, if I could be anywhere else, if I have the right pieces in place, I don't have to be playing these 35, 36 minutes day in and day out. You see the Jimmy Butler situation. The maintenance that we're doing with Jimmy Butler's younger, but Jimmy Butler has played a lot of minutes thanks to Tom Thibodeau. So you kind of see the management that you have. When you have depth, you can load manage once in a while, rest on back-to-backs, which I was impressed that he even played on the back-to-back, LeBron, after playing in Orlando. So do you think it's kind of a situation where wishful thinking, he's using it as leverage play to Rob Pelinka do actually execute a trade this year? Because now there's even rumors going around that the Lakers are strongly considering, according to reports, they're strongly considering just writing out the season with this roster to not give up any future assets. So right now, if you're LeBron, Clutch, how do you expect Rob Pelinka to respond to this statement? Because it was a very direct statement, but yet a vague statement. He didn't really give any specifics. He didn't put time frames on it, but he did tell you the end result, what he wants to do. So if you're Rob Pelinka, how do you take this?
I mean, it depends what you want to do as a franchise. Do you want to win with LeBron? Do you want to ride it out and wait for Anthony Davis to come back healthy next season, which is always a big if, because healthy next season usually just gets kicked down the road every year because he gets hurt.
Yeah. No, you're basically doing the same thing again, because Westbrook is a free agent, and all the people you signed to 1-year deals are out of it again. So you're back in the same situation without the Westbrook contract.
Yeah, because theoretically, you get rid of the Westbrook contract, everybody's a free agent except LeBron and AD. So theoretically, you can build around them again if you don't make any trades. So I could see why he thinks that. But he also has to realize LeBron is 38 and he wants to win now. He doesn't want to win next year. He doesn't want to win the year after that. He wants to win now. And that's kind of what LeBron is probably pushing for. He's probably like, hey, man, I'm a winning basketball player. Help me now. Don't help me later.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't get what. If I was Pelinka, I would make probably trades if I want to keep LeBron happy and try to win. Obviously, I know what he's trying to do, but I don't think it's gonna sit well with LeBron
at all. And the thing is, now you're weighing. I'll put my GM hat on. I put on many hats. My GM hat on. You're 7 games under 500, I believe, right? Something like that, or 8 games under 500.
Yeah,
I don't know what seed they're on the West. At what point do you tell yourself, okay, there's still a chance? And first of all, can LeBron keep this up this whole year? Because now you have Anthony Davis out for a month. He's not going to be, he probably, honestly, man, if this season goes down to the tank again, you don't risk playing Anthony Davis again. Because if he has a Lisfranc foot injury and he has an issue with his ankle, and he's had constant issues with his ankle, at what point do you tell yourself, like, wait a second, maybe we can move him instead of LeBron? He's going to get you more assets, but it's now as in a devalued asset. The whole situation with LeBron is you have the complementary players, and he's also partly responsible for the situation that he's in right now. Once again, because we all know Rob Pelinka is a GM. Okay, perfect. That's on paper. But relationships are with LeBron. You don't trade for Westbrook unless that's approved by LeBron and Anthony Davis. And supposedly the trade that was on the table was Buddy Hield. That's a better fit. You can see that. I can see that. The average fan. Anybody can see that.
So, 13th seed, by the way.
13th seed?
Yeah.
Wow. How many games under 500? 8 games? 9 games?
7.
7 games under 500. Dude, they have to go on a roll. And I see it very difficult with the roster construction that they have and LeBron carrying the load, and he's going to have off nights. Like, there's no way in hell that you see that. Oh, we got some Christopher Jones. Thank you for turning in. Let's see what Christopher says. I think James will still require more trade material than he'd have to offer. Pat won't part with Bam or Jimmy. The rest isn't enough. And I would add to this, and you can add to this, Christopher. Once again, thank you for tuning in, Chris. I would add to this. Uh, Pat for sure is not going to part with Bam or Jimmy. At this stage of his career, LeBron James is still LeBron James. Asset wise, you for sure, monetarily, you're going to include Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, just to make that salary work. Now, you're going to have to trade, obviously, first round picks. You might have to trade Jovic, Hero. So that's a whole combination. So it could, if it comes down to it, I don't doubt Pat Riley would hesitate to pull the trigger because that's LeBron James. And theoretically speaking, schematically, LeBron James fits this team perfectly. Perfectly fine. He fits it like a glove. He could be your stretch four. He could be your de facto point guard. If you surround him with shooting, Bam and Jimmy, there's no problem whatsoever to me in the East. Even LeBron aging. And this is a topic, Clutch, that I used to talk a lot with my friends, specifically with Bobby. I thought LeBron, as he would age, I thought of out of everyone every superstar that we have had, even Michael Jordan and Kobe, I compare him a lot to the way Kobe's game aged. I knew Kobe's game wasn't going to age well because of his injuries as well. But LeBron has a cerebral game where he can play the low post, he can create, he can lead your team. He doesn't necessarily have to be the go-to scorer on every single play. So obviously the way he takes care of his body is influential in that, is essential to it. But his game was aging gracefully in this modern day NBA. LeBron James could be your point guard right now without any issues. And on defense, you can kind of hide him. He can still play some passing lanes, but he can play, if you play zone defense or man-to-man, you can play him at the 4. Play him down low. As people have gotten shorter or people are playing longer, they also have gotten thinner. So you already have big bodies like Zion Williamson and Steve Adams anymore. So LeBron James can handle it without any issue. Now, packages that would entice LA, it all depends at the point of if LeBron demands a trade secretly and you got to get what you get, But, true, but if James is older and one wonders if Pat would trade Hero and picks. Maybe. He'd part with Kyle and Duncan easily. Oh, I agree 100%. I'm a big, if you've seen the show, I'm a big anti-trading Hero. I believe in Tyler Hero in the development and the leap year. And last week's episode with Brady and Clutch, we talked about that leap that we saw with Hero and Bam. So I still strongly believe the untouchables are still them 3. Tyler in the second tier, and Jimmy's older. Bam is a unicorn in the NBA, so you don't move him for anything. But I still believe there's 3 untouchables unless it's an offer like that you can refuse. But I don't think for James will be traded. So Clutch, I wanted to ask you this situation with James, based on the trade packages, for example. I still think also rides out as we've gotten healthier now, and the Heat have shown Demon isn't traveling with the team, thankfully. We've seen the promise with Orlando Robinson, and I kind of brought it up last week. And it's Orlando. Once again, we talked this whole season how injuries sometimes gives you the benefit of actually seeing what you thought you can do in play because you have to, based on a necessity. Orlando Robinson gives you way more versatility at this point than Dwayne Denman. 100% effort, 100% offensive rebounding. Everything is 100% improvement over Denman. Denman has the experience, but at this point, you have enough experience, honestly, in this roster that you can ride out the athleticism. And it makes your second unit click. This is ideally what we saw Orlando Robinson do against Rudy Gobert and in the minutes that he played against the Lakers is ideally the roster spot that was saved for Omer Yurtseven and the role that he was going to play in this rotation. So do you feel down the line now, even if we don't make any moves this season, do you feel the Heat coming back into play, getting healthier? You see the Victor Oladipo involvement. Kyle Lowry's rested. Heroes, Bam, continue to develop, continue to improve in season. Do you see this kind of stabilizing? Because I want to see this West Coast trip. That's kind of a factor that's going to put you over or under. It's 5 games away. If you get at least 3-2, 4-1, you're into this. You're in this. We're already in 6. We're the 6th seed right now. Okay, the East from 1 through 4 is probably secure. We can get up to the 5th, I believe. 5th, and we can crack the 4th this season. So do you feel confident, more confident now than you did 2 weeks ago?
I do, but I don't want to let my guard down because last time I felt this confident was after the Celtics game where we won and we went downhill again. So I am cautiously optimistic that that we kind of turned this around, and you've got more consistency out of the players, and they're playing well together again. And back to back games, we've had solid third quarters, which is something we don't usually have. So it's been a good sign. I think we're trending back in the right direction. I want to hope that we get that we're there in the turning point of the season.
Uh, that makes sense. That makes sense. And now we're coming. Okay, now January. There's a stretch. This is the interesting part. Now we go into January 15th. In 2 weeks, we're at the point where contracts. That's when the real offseason is going to start, because now you have contracts that can be traded. So the majority of the contracts that were signed this offseason, once you got the January 15th kicker, if you have the 20% kicker in your increase of salary, whatnot, now you're clear to make some moves. Obviously, they're not going to trade you down as Haslam, so we can get rid of that notion. But you have Caleb Martin's contract, you have Victor Oladipo's contract. Once again, I'm not saying they're going to move them. I'm just stating a fact. Now you have more teams willing to negotiate. Now you have more possibilities. Still, I still believe, and I'm a big believer. If you have him on your roster, you need to play him. Duncan Robinson is going to get steady minutes continuously. My goal, my ideal candidates to be moved are still Duncan Robinson and Dwayne Dedmon. That's the reason you signed Dedmon to that contract in the offseason, because it's tradable. You can package him and include, and you can acquire a player in the salary range of like a Buddy Hield, a Miles Turner, things of those natures. Now, that being said, if this season goes down the drain, and we talked about it, and Christopher, I see your comments. I'm going to get to it. As soon as we're done with this topic, I'm gonna respond to those comments, and me and Clutch as well. If you get to the season and you have an early exit in the playoffs, Kyle Lowry's contract next year, this is the final year of the contract, an expiring deal. You can attach some assets, you can move. Do you see, and I asked Brady this last week, but I didn't get to ask you, do you see a possibility of this offseason, everything being on the table if you have a second round exit or a first round exit?
I see it. I see everybody except Jimmy and Bam, and I'm including Tyler in this. Everybody
Okay.
except Jimmy and Bam
Okay.
is fair game.
Okay.
And if they want to build a plan before that, if you're talking trade deadline, and maybe you've seen that the Heat can somehow manage a little bit without Gabe Vincent, for example, and he has a contract coming up.
Yes.
Maybe you trade him at the trade deadline, get a few more assets in order to build a package for what could be, let's say, a LeBron trade,
Yeah.
or something like that. You got something that Heat haven't done in the past few years, which I think they should at some point, is capitalize on their fines, because they usually just make the fines and then they pay them and then they're overpaid and you can't trade them.
Exactly.
So capitalize before they get paid, which is a Gabe Vincent, even a Max Strus, who's coming back up now. He's more of a positive trend lately, but he had a really bad slump, and maybe you can capitalize from that. Who knows?
When you say that, I think they've really only extended one of their fines, like a long-term extension, like that was Duncan Robinson, and I think the market at that time made
you have to go deeper into it because you got like Hassan Whiteside back then.
Oh yeah, that's true. Never mind.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
That's true. My apologies. That was the worst one.
It's okay. We all try to erase that from our minds.
Oh my god! And it's funny, bro. Man, you have no idea the arguments me and Bobby used to have about Hassan Whiteside when we would sit down and talk about it. Because honestly, I thought they were gonna play Bam more with Hassan at that time. What you don't realize, obviously, behind the scene, all the shit that was going on, Hassan was a defensive menace, bro. Hassan was perfect to play with Chris Bosh. That's another thing. You see, this is the part, the what ifs with LeBron, and we got to that topic and the situation with Chris Bosh. I always wondered how that team would have done long term if Chris Bosh would have never gotten hurt. The combination of Hassan Whiteside with Chris Bosh, with Justice Winslow, with Wade and Dragic, like that had the making of a top 3 team in the East for a few years. Obviously, we will never understand why. Like we will never know what would happen because of the situation, the health situation of Chris Bosh, and he had to retire. So Hassan Whiteside kind of became the de facto big man and the focal point, which, as we've gone to show, he didn't get a contract extension anywhere else. He hasn't signed a contract. I don't even think he's in the league this year. Is he in the league this year? Did he sign as a veteran minimum somewhere?
He's
Or
a
he's still
free
free
agent,
agent?
I think.
He's still free agent?
Yeah.
Look at that. That goes to show you.
I mean, the market for true big men is going away. You
It's
have Dwight
done.
Howard in China.
It's done, man. DeMarcus Cousins, he's not going to get a job right now. You know what? I would be surprised. I think Carmelo signs before the season's over.
Probably to a team that probably feels like they need a little bit more offensive punch to compete for a championship.
Yeah.
And
Imagine Carmelo signing with the Nets.
Yeah.
I can see that. Let's answer Chris, because I appreciate your comments, man. And okay, aside from the untouchables, I wonder if there's enough to entice the Lakers. Good point. I sure wish they would. James is always happy to be back in town and was spotted in his former mingling spots. Honestly, when it comes to enticing the Lakers at that point, if there's any other franchise, since this is LeBron James, he's going to dictate where he goes, but he's under contract, technically. The same situation with Kevin Durant. The Lakers are not just going to trade him anywhere. But if any team wants to give up assets, and obviously this plays also into if Bronny James is in the league. If LeBron plays, maybe obviously not next year, it's not going to happen, but in a few years, LeBron is under that contract. There are teams that were willing to trade everything to acquire LeBron, and if also you can sign Bronny James or draft him, you can have, obviously, media relations will go insane, ticket sales through the roof, merchandise. So there are teams willing to give up a farm for LeBron. Do I see that he's doing that at this point? No. At this point, it's a cordial relationship. I don't think there's any tension between Pat Riley and LeBron anymore. That's kind of squashed. And Pat Riley got fined last year for saying that.
He straight up went on the Lebron show and said, "Hey, the key's under the mat, my guy. You can come back."
He did say, "I don't think it's going to happen." So he kind of, he's threading lightly there. But if it does happen, for sure, there's no way that if LeBron James tells you that you want to come to your team, that you don't analyze the possibility. Kind of like what we did with Kevin Durant. The same situation. There are very few people that, no matter who you are, no matter what your team situation, how successful you are, if they tell you, hey, I want to come join you, you analyze every possible way to do that without stripping your team of everything. And he makes a good point too. Max Strus playing better off the bench like Tyler last year. Yeah. And Max Strus, the situation with Max, and he's kind of getting over it. Honestly, Clutch, I just think he was being overused. You're asking a lot of players to do a lot that they're not probably prepared for. I'm not saying they're not professional athletes, but you're asking players to play above their role, which is okay. But that time frame is very different when you're asking. And this is how we manage minutes, even with my teams in high school. Like we have, you're talking about 15, 16-year-old kids. They don't get tired very often, but we still need to have sub patterns to kind of give them the rest they need to maximize what they're going to give you in the fourth. And a lot of breakdowns, believe it or not, and it's not an excuse because there are professional athletes, a lot of breakdowns that I see in the fourth quarter at times is due to fatigue. And you have players playing out of their role is very different when you have Jimmy Butler closing, Bam closing, Vic Oladipo closing, than when you have Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Dwayne Dedmon closing. So you have to balance your youth with Orlando Robinson, and it gives you a component where Orlando Robinson's comfortable shooting from the mid-range. He has range. He's an offensive rebounding menace. He's literally Omer Yurtseven. So that's another situation now that comes up. You got Orlando Robinson coming up. You got Omer. You have probably both of them next year in reasonable contracts. So you got depth there. You can make those moves. You have the depth that you need. You're not going to play big, but at least you have that option. So I would say this. I'm very intrigued. I don't think it's going to happen. I generally don't. But I do believe LeBron's statement yesterday put the whole league in notice. He kind of spoke what everybody knew, but he hadn't said it. Now, the timing to me, Clutch, is what triggers me. Not triggers me, entices me. Why now? Was it because it was the Heat? Was it because he knows the storyline or the importance of the franchise, what it could carry with him as well? Or he just reached a breaking point, back-to-back situations where he's playing and they're going against a much, quote-unquote, more talented team. He's missing Anthony Davis, a more disciplined team. And, for example, I don't think it was a knock on the coaching staff. It wasn't a knock on anything. But he does, you can tell how tired he is in regards to, I just don't want to play ball to play ball. A man at a certain age, especially a man like that, you have kids, you have your wife, you have your daughter growing up. If you're going to be away from home, obviously you're making an insane amount of money. You have your own companies, you have sponsorships, but you want to be playing meaningful basketball. I'm not 23, 24-year olds anymore. Like, you're not chasing women, you're not chasing contracts, you're not chasing money. No, no, no. That's it. You are a family man. You have to, like, at that age, obviously I'm close to that age. You live with a purpose. And that's what I got from it, because it's about his legacy. At this point, he's playing basketball for a purpose. But goes to show you again, and I'll ask for your prediction, Clutch. If he doesn't leave Miami, the very popular topic has been discussed around the league and it's been raised again, and I talked about it for years ago. I can't guarantee you that he would have won championships all those years. Cap, what's up, my man? Let me give a shout out to Cap. Does LeBron have the smiling face with a hidden agenda bug again? He could be, man. It could be. But we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Thanks for listening, Cap. What was I saying? Oh, LeBron. I can't guarantee you, Clutch, that we would have won championships all those years. But if you have LeBron James with the Miami Heat, think about this for those years, and you have the emergence, you have Golden State kind of coming into their own, because our run ended when Golden State was ascending. It's incredible how that would have been epic for the basketball gods.
We missed that finals by 1 year.
Oh my God, dude. And to me, when I saw that, and to me, that's the part, as Pat Riley was saying, it's not that he took it personal, because you respect what people do, but you can see what he was going to do. And we've talked about this before. He didn't want to trade those first round picks to Cleveland or to Toronto, because when you have three max players, you're either going to have veteran players at the end of their careers coming to play for the minimum because they want to win, or you're going to have rookie scale contracts, developmental players. So imagine with our developmental system, which at that time was strong, but after LeBron, I will grant you this. After LeBron left, our developmental staff was even greater because our coaching staff changed as well. Ron Rothstein became obviously a commentator, more of a scouting job. Bob McAdoo as well. So you had a different mindset as well. Now, I'm not saying that they're great basketball teachers, but it was an overall haul. It was an overall haul of Spo's staff. He overhauled it completely. So you have that. That led to that. But before, if LeBron stays for this period of time, when he was in Cleveland for 4 years, and now he's in LA for what, 4 or 5 years? Like, it's been 10 years? Oh no, 8 years since he left. So I can guarantee you, we would have had a competing team all those years, probably Eastern Conference Finals all those years. I don't think Toronto wins a championship if we're there. I don't think all these teams ascend if we're there, because LeBron, even Dwayne Wade at the twilight of his career, even with Bosh getting sick, you still have LeBron at the 4. You still have a team to build around. Imagine Hassan Whiteside with LeBron. Like, those are the situations that play in your head. You're like, wait a second. What could have been? And I know it has to drive him crazy in the regards to legacy. He was able to go back to Cleveland, won a championship for his city. That he's free. That freedom completely. And Pat Riley even said him with the text message situation. I'm like, you win this one and you're free. Now he's just playing basketball for greatness, achieve accolades, not individual statistics, which he's going to break the record this year, undoubtedly. Now, what do you do in the later stage of your career? What do you do? How do you set yourself up? So realistically, man, how many championships do you think he would have won? Or how many battles, epic battles of Warriors and Heat we missed? Market-wise, league-wise, LeBron was always a sell. The Warriors were always a sell. If you had LeBron and Wade still teaming up, you have to think at least by now, you're looking at 6, 7 championships for him.
Yeah, I would probably get conservative and say minimum. I'll go with the minimum, which is probably like 5, which is still one more than he has now.
Yeah, I was gonna go with the percentage of his championships here. He was here for 4 years and he won 2. If he would have been here for 12, he would have won at least 6.
Right.
I would say that's safe to say, because Warriors obviously were on a run. So now, would the Warriors dynasty have been as successful if LeBron would have stayed in Miami.
Maybe not. That's actually a good
You
question.
see,
I think
because
it was still would have been great, but great doesn't mean a dynasty like it is.
uh-huh. Look, he makes a good point, Christopher. Again, I would argue to say that no market will be as welcoming of James and reunited with Miami. That's true, very true. His career will be reinvigorated. At his age, he welcomed that. Man, and good point here, Chris. And Cliff, tell me what you think. At this point, it's insane to me. I never thought I would say this, but LeBron James, look, the game is so easy to him. He's 38 years old. He plays the game so easy. Obviously, has he gotten lazier on defense? Yes, he has. Is he coasting at times? Yes, he has. Did you see the game yesterday, Coach, by any chance?
I had something to do, but I did catch the fourth quarter.
Same here. I didn't go up to the second half. Did you see the offense they were running? It's just basically kick it to LeBron, drop it off to LeBron in the high post, dribble, 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 kick out, kick it back again, dribble, 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 fade away. Like the way they run their offense around LeBron. Like, I'm not saying they're misusing him because right now they don't have anybody, but there's no way in hell a 38-year-old, arguably the greatest player of all time, is okay with playing meaningless basketball away from his family for a prolonged period of time. It's just not sustainable. Like, at this age, you got to play with a purpose. Either you're a veteran and you're just grabbing your last paycheck. LeBron doesn't need the money. He doesn't care about the money. That's why, to me, as a superstar, he wants to win. And he said it. He verbatim. He said that. I'm a winner. I want to win. I don't want to play meaningless basketball. So I'll ask you for your final prediction, Clutch. Next year, LeBron James is a Laker or no?
As much as I like chaos and I want to see him move just for
I love how
for the
you
league
preface
to
that.
just for the league to be in shambles. Um, I'd say he's probably still a Laker.
Okay, I'll take that. All right. Now he's still a Laker. Boom. I'm gonna throw this wild card argue. I wouldn't have done it a few years ago, but I see something in him that I like, and he's also reiterated. James Harden stated that from now on he wants to do short-term contracts, kind of like LeBron did when he got back to Cleveland. Okay, what team does James Harden play for right now?
Right now, he's in the Sixers.
Sixers. Where's Kyle Lowry from?
Lowry, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. If you cannot come to a contract agreement and extension with James Harden next year, are you okay with trading a package surrounding Kyle Lowry, possible other assets, maybe even a Tyler Hero, or first-round picks, Jovic, whatever the case may be? Because ideally, he's not gonna. If he says he doesn't want to resign with Philadelphia, Philadelphia's gonna lose him for nothing. So we don't really have to give up top assets like a Hero. We just gotta make the money work, some compensation, and maybe a young asset. Are you okay with James Harden being a member of the Miami Heat next year?
If you asked me this like just a year ago, I'd probably say no.
Uh-huh.
But we're probably I think we've turned it around kind of, and we're still like one of the worst offenses in the league.
Yes.
So yeah, we kind of need the scoring. So in short, yeah.
And
although I did see that James Harden was interested in Houston again.
Yes, of course. Why? You know what? That's the LeBron move. You leave the team, right? When LeBron came back to Cleveland, do you remember how stacked they were?
Yeah.
Kyrie. I mean, I know they traded Wiggins and Bennett, which Bennett's probably one of the worst first overall picks in NBA history. But they traded that and they got Kevin Love. But if you put James Harden back in Houston, now can the relationship be mended in Houston? I don't know how he left in regards to, because the team is not there. Well, the coach is there, but they'll probably remove the coach if anything. They'll fire Silas if he does come back. But I don't know, man. I don't see how. And ideally, what other spots financially can work? The reason I don't know why I keep trickling back to Miami is because this is honestly, I think it's all based on Kyle Lowry. But I think anybody with two fingers of common sense can tell you, you would trade a James Harden for Kyle Lowry, especially in that year. So, and Kyle Lowry might benefit the Sixers as well. Their playing style. So that's something that to me is, and he makes a good point here. Christopher, again, Man, Christopher's on the road today. Thank you so much for listening, Christopher. I would take Harden. We need his points, not his defense. This is perfect right here because I have no problem whatsoever because our defense is strong enough. Look at the games that we're playing. What did you say our offense was? It's still like the second worst offense in the NBA in the month of December.
Yeah, there's
And
30 teams. I think we're 29th.
29th, and we have a winning record in December. We've made a run in December now. So imagine having a balanced offense. Our defense is fine, man. Our defense is with Jimmy healthy, Bam healthy. There's no one. Gabe Vincent, obviously, those are the keys. And also, once again, I give my respect where my respect is. Kyle Lowry is a great. Not a great. He's still an above average on-ball defender, and he has a big body. He's a good rebounder in the low. He's actually a great low post defender. I'm not gonna lie. He can body those big men. So you got to give credit where credit is due. And he does get your team organized, things of that nature. I think it will be a different style of basketball offensively. I think Hero will benefit from it. You'll see more on ball with Hero. Vic, we still have Vic. So there's so many possibilities that I see with his team. But I am intrigued, and I'll tell you this, and we'll end it on this note. I am intrigued by what I see from the Heat in the past 2 games. I understand we've sometimes gone on a roll, and like you mentioned, it's a letdown, and then we lose 2 to 3 in a row. I don't think it's going to happen this time, and I'll tell you why. I do believe that Spo is going to keep Orlando Robinson in the rotation, and that drop-off, which was a killer whenever you take Bam out, and the sub-patterns have improved as well. Now you're seeing Tyler Hero play a lot with the second unit as well, getting more rest for the big for the first unit. If you keep Orlando Robinson as part of the rotation, if Vic is healthy, Vincent came back, remains healthy, you're kind of getting your rotation back in place. So we can make a run here and maybe crack the top 4, top 3 in the East by February. So the next 2 weeks will be telling, and then obviously your trade deadline. So I'm encouraged, and let me just put up one more from Christopher. Riley would trade Kyle the first chance he gets. I'm keeping him way down. Plays only in spurts, and once again, he's increasingly missing time for personal reasons. Well, look, I'll tell you this: we're all human beings. The extent of the personal reasons we don't know. Obviously, it's team approved, and I don't mind the personal reason because it's kind of like load management. He has. I don't know. Have you seen him? Have you seen him clutch this year, like out of shape, or he's been? Honestly, I think he's one of our most reliable players this year.
He's been reliable for sure.
I understand the play part is shaky because the problem is I think we keep judging Kyle Lowry from Toronto. Like we don't need that Kyle Lowry. We just need a constant playmaker. His shot has been consistent due to the rest, like you just mentioned there. If he has a balanced rotation, like I said, there's no reason Kyle Lowry should be playing more than 30 minutes any night. I don't believe that. I do believe you can keep him between 25 to 30. You keep sub patterns are crucial in the NBA. You have to rest your guys, especially on back-to-backs. And that's why you have your youth and Vincent and Jamal Cain, Orlando Robinson. You can play these guys an extended amount of minutes because they're much younger and they recover quicker. It's just science, man. That's the way it works. As your body gets older, it takes longer to recover. You need to have better nutrition, more training, more strength and conditioning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, he's judging him by, just to put that statement there, how I started last year, not to, okay, so it's first year. That's fair. I'll give you that. That's very fair. Like, I know last year, and you know what sucks? Christopher, it sucks to judge. We won't be able to know the full extent of Kyle Lowry last year and the effect that it had because he died down in the playoffs against the Celtics. And it was just a culmination of everything happening to him, I guess, on a personal level, which for humans, it happened to Goran Dragic at time too when he got traded. He was having some personal. It was mostly his wife being pregnant, wasn't able to travel. So it was those personal situations that it affects human beings. And you could be professional athletes, but unfortunately it happens. So this year's really the totem pole. And if we could get on a nice run, win the next 4 out of 5, maybe lose 1, win 4 more, I still think we can finish the season as a 50-win team, realistically. And I'm not trying to be a homer or anything. This team is really talented. It's really balanced. We just got to play together, and our offense has to improve the fluidity of it. And that's just consistency. And Caleb Martin is playing exceptional. We just have to get on the roll, and we just have to get healthy and continue that roll. So on that note, Clutch. Oh, anything you want to say, bud?
No, just Eric. I mean, I would have lost so much confidence in this team way ago if it wasn't that Eric Spoelstra was their coach. Because if anybody can get this thing right, it's probably him. He's been he's been a steadying force for the Heat ever since he got
Mm-hmm.
hired, and and I think we'll be fine. Also, Duncan Robinson, 3 more 3 pointers, and he
Yes.
sets
How
the Heat
many?
record.
Three more?
3 more.
Bro, I think he gets it next game.
Yep.
I think he gets it next game. That's another. It's incredible to me if you notice, and we've had a conversation with Duncan Robinson before we go. Now we're on the side of just getting rid of Duncan Robinson, and I understand the liability that he is at time, but I also know he's one of our best offensive weapons when he's clicking, because just the mere fact that he's out there, people gravitate to him. The defense gravitates to him. Statistically, when Duncan Robinson plays, we're a better offensive team, and that's not me just BSing you. It's statistically in the modern day NBA, where the 3 pointer being so key, that opens up so many lanes for Jimmy as a slasher. Tyler Hero creating to the rim. Bam Adebayo. Bam in his mid range game is working perfectly fine. His post game is developing even better as well. So until I just don't want to move Robinson for, and I don't think they will, for a lateral move. You move Robinson to improve an area of need, size, rebounding, your stretch four. So if that's the case, he becomes a casualty. I don't mind. And like you said, Christopher, great point. Strus has taken over that role, and yes, more affordable. Strus will probably get a team friendly contract this year. He might get one of those 3 4 year extensions in the Caleb Martin salary range, and that's manageable. So, and the salary cap's going to go up. Remember, people keep forgetting about this. In 2 years, with the new TV rights, salary cap is going to skyrocket a little bit more. So these contracts are not going to be as bad. Those Jimmy making $40-50 million a year is not as bad when your salary cap is 200 million. So those are things that we're working with, the evolution of basketball. So for that being said, Christopher, well, apparently our number one fan, thank you so much for tuning in and always conversing with us. Like I said, anything you guys want to talk about, any feedback that you want to give us, do so on air. DM us. We don't care. We will respond to everything. And if you want to be on the show one day, we'll have you on as well. So for that being said, Clutch, any more final words, or that was it?
No, man. I just had to leave off on the Duncan thing. Gotta
Okay.
get. I'm okay with getting the Heat history part out of the way, so then we can trade him. I won't
Then
have
we
a
could,
problem.
as long as you cannot trade him
Just
until
let him get the record, and then you can trade him.
the moment he gets a record, you pull him from the game.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's how you do trade negotiations. You say,
That's
"Oh,
how
we
you-
have a record breaker on this team."
Oh man. Hey, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Oh, before I forget, I cannot forget this, Bob. We reached 500 subscribers at Fitz Talk Sports Network. So a major shout out to Bobby, the founder, the leader of this network that has given us all a platform. He's my brother. We've known each other for 30 years. He's literally my brother. Um, and I'm so proud of him for what he's built and what he's given us a platform to be able to express what we think, what we see. Like I said, we're all fans for the fans. We're not experts. We don't, this isn't our jobs. This is a passion that we have, and we like talking to each other. And this is not a network. This is really a family. So I just want to send a personal, very proud of him, and thank you all for the support. And let's see who the lucky winners of the jersey giveaway. It's going to be, I believe, either Holland or Waddle, if I'm not mistaken. So good luck to everybody there, and much love from Miami. Next week we should be on Wednesday, all based on our schedule, but we'll keep you posted. Thank you so much for listening, Chris. Appreciate your comments, and anybody that wants to be involved, please feel free. Contact us, be part of the show, give us ideas, whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. So for Clutch and I, take care. Have a good night, Miami. Be safe, and Happy New Year. See you all in 2023.